Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 State of the County Address. Please insert your applause here. Just like trained seals, thank you so much. Sit back and relax because you're about to enjoy the longest list of distinguished guests ever read in an evening like this. So are you ready? Let's get ready for me to ramble. Insert applause here. Please welcome from the County of San Diego, Vice Chairwoman Diane Sparky Jacob, Supervisor Greg Cox, Supervisor Ron Roberts, everyone's a supervisor, Supervisor Bill Horn, Sheriff Bill, I'm packing heat, don't press me, Gore, District Attorney Summer Steffen. Hold on to your wallets and your purses for Treasurer Tax Collector Dan McAllister and County Assessor Recorder County Clerk, man that's a long title, Ernie Boom Boom Dronenberg. Also from the County of San Diego, CAO Helen Robbins Meyer, Assistant CAO Don Stoyer, County Counsel Tom Montgomery, Clerk of the Board David Hall, Director of Health and Human Services, who had his flu shot, Nick Machione, and our 4 Deputy Chief Administrative Officers. Give it up for Ron Lane, Public Safety, April Hines, Community Services, Tracy Sandoval, Auditor Controller, Sarah Agassi, Land Use Environmental. From the City of San Diego, Mayor Kevin, still boyishly handsome, Falconer, City Attorney Mara Elliott. Other dignitaries who didn't show up don't get mentioned. But from the City of Del Mar, Council Member Terry Sinat, City of Encinitas Council Member Mark Muir, Deputy Mayor Joe Mosca, Council Member Tony Kranz. From the City of Escondido, Mayor Sam Abed, Deputy Mayor John Masson, he knows who he is, John Masson, Council Member Michael Marasco. From the City of Solana Beach, a whole lot of sand, and Council Member Jewel Edson. City of Coronado, Council Member Bill Sandkey. From the City of Imperial Beach, Mayor Pro Tem Mark West. Council Member Edward J. Spriggs. City of Lemon Grove actually has touched the Lemon Grove lemon, Mayor Raquel Vasquez. From the City of Oceanside, Council Member Jerome M. Kern and his orchestra. From the City of Poway, Mayor Steve Voss. Deputy Mayor Barry Leonard, San Diego School Board's Mo Muir, and Jerry Mathers as the Beaver. And lastly, we want to acknowledge the chairwoman's family for their support, her husband and children, Paul, Carson, Peyton, and Addie, and her parents, Janae and Ralph De Siena, her brother Steve Brown, and a cast of thousands. So again, welcome tonight to this special event. Now performing Ragged Old Flag, please give a warm welcome to Poway Mayor, the only Grammy Award-winning mayor in the world today, Steve Voss.
I walked through a county courthouse square. On a park bench, an old man was sitting there. I said, "Your old courthouse is kind of run down." He said, "Nah, it'll do for our little town." I said, "Your old flagpole is leaned a little bit. That's sure a ragged old flag you got hanging on it." He said, "Have a seat." And I sat down. Asked me, "Is this the first time you've been to our little town?" I said, "I think it is." He said, "Well, I don't like to brag, but we're kind of proud of that ragged old flag. See that flag there? Got a hole in it when Washington took it across the Delaware. And it got powder burned the night that Francis Scott Key sat watching it writing, 'Oh, say, can you see?' It got a rip in New Orleans with Pakenham and Jackson tugging at its seams. And it almost fell at the Alamo beside the Texas flag, but she waved on though. She got cut with a sword at Chancellorsville cut again at Shiloh Hill. There was Robert E. Lee and Beauregard and Bragg. See, the south wind blew hard on that ragged old flag. On Flanders Field in World War I, she got a big old hole from a Bertha gun. She turned blood red in World War II, hung limp and low a time or two. She was in Korea and Vietnam. She went wherever she was sent by her Uncle Sam. She waved from our ships on the briny foam, even though sometimes they about quit waving her here at home. In her own good land, she's been abused, burned, dishonored, denied, and refused. And the government for which she stands has been scandalized throughout the land. And she's getting threadbare. She's wearing thin. But she's in good shape for the shape she's in. Because she's been through the fire before. And I believe she can take a whole lot more. So we raise her up every morning, bring her down slow every night. We don't let her touch the ground, and we fold her up just right. On second thought, I do like to brag, because I'm mighty proud of that ragged old flag.
For me. Ready? Larson, you're ready. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to sing our national anthem is Blaze Gould.
Just want to say what an honor it is to be here. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, hundreds of deputy sheriffs, and pets to be named later, please welcome Chairwoman Kristin Gaspar.
Well, good evening. The state of the county is innovative and strong. Just is. Okay, I was going to let you off the hook, but here we go. Now I'm going to take you back 100 years. Imagine not learning your letters until the age of 9, not learning to read until the age of 12, and remaining a slow reader throughout your entire life. In 1918, that man was Woodrow Wilson. You see, Wilson was dyslexic and suffered and struggled with reading his entire life. But instead of being overcome by his disability, He used determination and self-discipline to not only survive school, but to excel. He went on to become a professor at Princeton University, the author of an acclaimed novel on George Washington, governor of New Jersey, and the 28th president of the United States. 100 years ago, the price of a postage stamp was 3 cents, and a gallon of gas, wait for it, 8 cents. And there were 100,000 people living in San Diego County. 100 years ago, women were not allowed the right to vote. 100 years ago, Mildred Green became a San Diego legend. You see, Miss Mildred Green was married to then County Supervisor Harry Green. In April of 1918, the supervisor became gravely ill, and it prompted Mildred Green to learn the ins and outs of his duties. A few months later, he died of heart failure. The San Diego Union, as the paper was called then, said that Mrs. Green had taken virtual charge of his duties and had administered the work of the first supervisorial district with the same thoroughness which had defined Mr. Green. Mildred decided that she would run for her late husband's seat. There was only one small problem. No woman had ever been elected to the county board. Not in San Diego, not anywhere in the entire state. And her opponents, yeah, they were not having any of it. But instead of fearing what had not been done before, Mildred chose to be innovative, challenging the status quo and pushing the institutional boundaries. 7 men threw their hat in the ring to run against Mildred. One had a saying, "A businessman for a business office." Another was quoted as saying, "Other things being equal, a young man really does more and better work." That candidate, by the way, yeah, he received the fewest number of votes in that race. In November of 1918, Mildred Green became the first woman in the state ever elected to a county board. A few weeks after that, Sheriff Gore. The sheriff, he was so impressed with her determination to fix the county's crumbling roads that he named her deputy sheriff. Mildred's legacy as an innovator and a trailblazer must live on in us. Fast forward 100 years to 2018, 2 of us are women, and I am proud to be the youngest woman ever elected to this board. Although I think it's safe to say that Diane and I will leave the sheriff duties up to Sheriff Gore and his capable team. Now today, a postage stamp, it's gonna cost you 49 cents, and that gallon of gas is fast approaching $4 and growing, thanks to our friends in Sacramento, that is. And there are nearly 3.5 million people living in our county. And an increase in population means an increase in challenges, but I'm proud to say that this board has moved us boldly into the future. As the newest member of this board, I am honored to serve with my fellow supervisors who have proven themselves to be prudent stewards of the county for the past decades. Now the government is famous for operating under the philosophy, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. But that is simply not the way that San Diego County does business. In San Diego County, we have recognized the importance of building upon past innovation. The supervisors have carried forward that innovation in their work with the support of a dynamic and innovative county staff. In 2018, we must stay the course by innovating. Now, interesting research has been done to identify a few common key characteristics that all innovative leaders embody. And it's no coincidence that these qualities shine through in my colleagues and have guided them to success here in the county. Doing things differently or not being afraid to try something that hasn't been done before. Past Chairwoman Diane Jacob initiated what she called her 7 in 17 key priorities last year. All 7 have been accomplished or set into motion. They included beefed up funding for parks and for roads and ensuring the long-term fiscal health of our county's pension system. Diane and I teamed up to help dementia-stricken seniors that find themselves in crisis situations. A pilot program that connects these seniors with critical response teams gets underway this year. The initiative is all part of the Alzheimer's Project, a county-led effort to find a cure and help those with dementia and their families. On another critical regional issue, Supervisor Jacob teamed up with Supervisor Roberts, and they spearheaded an effort to create a $25 million affordable, innovative housing trust fund. Another key quality, authentic leaders, they're passionate about their work. Supervisor Cox represents San Diego on a national level. In July, the supervisor will be sworn in as the president of the National Association of Counties. And no doubt he will make sure that the voices of counties and their residents are heard in Washington, D.C. and across the country. Innovative leaders understand that innovation, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. You have to value, build, and sustain vibrant networks of people. Now, Supervisor Horn has continued to make veterans a priority. His annual Veterans Conference had record-breaking attendance, and this year had a focus on women. The first annual North County Stand Down Veterans event was a great success, and he's still partnering with industry to help reduce the red tape involved in the building process. Now, supervisors, they're also not keen on taking shortcuts. Innovative leaders aren't either. They're not afraid at coming to more complex solutions, even if it means taking greater risks. Supervisor Roberts will continue to enhance public safety, including partnering with me on a program to enhance backcountry coverage with the use of high-definition cameras to spot and track wildfires, and a high-speed broadband network that will connect more than 60 backcountry fire stations, giving our firefighters the ability to share valuable training information and also critical information during times of emergency. Supervisor Roberts will also continue as chairman of the Regional Task Force on Homeless, including overseeing the deployment of the first ever regional plan framework. Innovation has been the hallmark of success of this board, and successfully carrying out that innovation has been our wonderful county staff under the direction of CAO Helen Robbins-Meyer and Assistant CAO Don Stoyer. They love being called out, I can assure you. Now, in 2010, under the direction of Director Nick Mascione, our county took on a bold initiative, Live Well San Diego. But Live Well isn't your ordinary strategic plan. Rather, it's an overarching vision for the region, a purposeful innovation that has forever changed how we do business as the county. Live Well San Diego, it's not your standard government approach. It's a prevention strategy addressing the root causes of challenges that we face as a region. It's a strategy that recognizes government can't solve these challenges alone, and we must create strong partnerships within our community. And by doing so, we can build better health, we can live safely, and we can thrive while saving millions in taxpayer dollars. Well, Live Well San Diego, it focuses on outcomes with the ability to adapt if desired goals are not being achieved. We embrace this model in all the things that we think, say, and do. In the last 8 years, I am really pleased to say that LiveWell has blossomed around the region. We have now more than 340 LiveWell partners, and we have realized millions in taxpayer savings. So thank you, Nick, for your vision and for your innovative spirit. Oh, there you are. In December, the county's Health and Human Services Agency was among 4 organizations in the state to be recognized for excellence in innovation, continuous improvement, and leadership. HHSA received the California's Silver Award for Performance Excellence. What an incredible honor. But we're not just sitting around patting ourselves on the back for this and other awards. Instead, we're pushing as a county to do even more. Substance abuse is a major public health and safety problem impacting the entire nation. Addiction is tearing apart individuals, families, and our communities. This year, the county will implement a drug Medi-Cal organized delivery system. It will improve outcomes and expand services to those struggling with addiction. We are building capacity through those community partners, and we will be able to serve 30% more people over the next 3 years. There is a road to recovery, and San Diego County is paving the way through innovation and better coordination. Our county's financial team has also taken an innovative approach with your taxpayer dollars by making additional voluntary payments to help manage increasing retirement costs and establishing a new retirement tier for employees, which is the lowest tier allowable under state law. We also have a strong history of paying for large capital with cash on hand. What a concept! Instead of issuing debt. And by doing so, we have saved taxpayers, get this, $1 billion in borrowing costs over the past decade. Indeed, we have a really strong foundation, but there is still so much innovation to accomplish. And considering the significant challenges that we have as a region, now is the time more than ever to strengthen that Live Well strategy. Our cost of living has outpaced wages to the point where 1 in every 6 adults and 1 in every 5 children faces hunger every day. And fewer than 5% of this population are homeless. Now, one Live Well partner I've had the privilege of getting to know this past year has been the San Diego Food Bank. CEO Jim Floros and his mustache have done an exemplary job in implementing a Live Well strategy. I was really proud to partner with the San Diego Food Bank on the holiday food drive and the Schools Out, Hunger's Not campaign. Thank you, Jim, for everything that you're doing to address food insecurity throughout the region. Would you and your mustache please stand and be recognized? But hunger is just one of our challenges. Our discharged veterans are often not equipped with the job skills they need to land a good-paying job, or they can't afford to live here and to support their families. We have seen a rise in homelessness throughout the county, and Alzheimer's is our 3rd leading cause of death. And while we are making strides, we still have some roads that are not up to our standards. Now, during my first year as supervisor, I have visited hundreds of organizations in San Diego, many of them nonprofits. I was so pleased to see the many models that involved people taking personal responsibility for themselves and taking an active role in their transformation to becoming whole again. Now, Clarence Carter, he's the director of the Office of Family Assistance in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In September, Clarence and I participated in an empowerment summit. he said something that stood out to me. He said that we need to redefine compassion. He rejects the notion of tough love altogether and says that tough love is actually genuine love for people. The recognition that people are capable and have simply lost sight of their own inner strength. Genuine love. I like that. And I want to introduce you tonight to a couple of organizations and people who have adopted this new compassion and live that model. Solutions for Change requires sober living from its clients and addresses the root causes of what led them to homelessness, while teaching them a way out. Workshops for Warriors addresses a question that so many of our transitioning military have. What do I do now? And Doors for Change, they had me at self-sufficiency, and they've placed over 1,800 homeless youth in long-term safe housing while teaching them how to make it on their own. So what do all of these organizations have in common? Their results. The lives transformed by their innovative approach.
When I was 11, I started using methamphetamines. I was 8 when I smoked weed. My life was destructive and insane, and it was like my own living hell. I felt unlovable. I felt like my life didn't matter. I had these 2 daughters, and so CPS took my youngest daughter away and said, if you don't get clean, then you're gonna lose your daughters. That was my rock bottom. Solutions for Change definitely saved my life. And more importantly, it saved the lives of my girls. There's a solution to family homelessness, and Solutions for Change is a huge part of that.
I felt pretty lost. The military gives you that security blanket, that sense of security, on-base housing, and a paycheck 1st and 15th every month. That was my biggest fear, was being able to provide for my kids. Free welding school? It sounds like a great opportunity. The certifications that you get through this schooling could take years at a community college or another school. That fast track of being able to get everything that you need to be able to be successful in the industry in a short amount of time was a huge blessing. It's a huge weight off your shoulders and off your chest, being able to know that you can provide and you have a steady income, and I'm growing, I'm learning every day.
Sometimes it's just hard to explain how dark something can be when you see that not everyone had that same life, you know, that you had growing up. The physical and verbal abuse was definitely something that seemed like it wouldn't end. I was just going from like garages to laundromats. I got my first bed ever. I had food every day. Doors of Change definitely saved my life. It's real magical to have this life that I have now. More light to the group of youth that are still struggling with these type of issues and can't seem to find an answer. I know I have a plan, you know, and I have hope, and I have a reason to keep going.
One of the things that appealed to me the most when I first became a county supervisor was how to strengthen social services by identifying gaps in the delivery system. As the CFO of a company and a fiscal steward here at the county, I'm a numbers person. I like to see results, and I like to invest in solutions that work. I've also never been a fan of reinventing the wheel. If you have a model that works, I'm all in. So on to one of those final characteristics that all of the innovative leaders embody. Know how to navigate through resistance to ideas. Now, about a year ago, I had an idea, albeit a very bold idea that made my staff even a bit nervous. I told them that I wanted to work with some of our most vulnerable populations, the formerly incarcerated, the addicted, and the homeless. I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a university that could teach people how to live and empower the hopeless? I shared this idea with someone in this audience, and a wry smile crept across his face. He shared with me that actually this already existed in practice, and what's even better, it had proven results. I just had to know more, and so I hopped on a plane. And we landed in Salt Lake City on a brisk fall day, and we were greeted by clean-cut ambassadors of the Other Side Academy. They took us to their home, which was in the heart of the city. A beautiful mansion. In fact, it was the first home of the former mayor of Salt Lake City. Actually, the home of the first mayor of Salt Lake City. And we were greeted with enthusiasm and excitement, hope and transformation. It was a home, a school, a business, a place where people were living and working together to make each other better, stronger, and more accountable. Now, you might think the Other Side Academy is a military academy. Every bed made with precision, unlike at the Gaspar house, and not a thing out of place. And the basement was buzzing as students called to get donations that they needed for the house. Everything from hot sauce to clothing. Now, the second floor was interesting because it housed a moving company, the #1 rated moving company in all of Salt Lake City. Phones ringing, keyboards clicking, and a whiteboard covering an entire wall jammed with upcoming appointments. At lunch, the kitchen, it revved up while the students were making a delicious meal for their housemates. I had the opportunity to sit down with a few great young men, and they insisted on eye contact, and they proudly shared with me their journey. I felt safe. I felt that genuine love. So who are these students, these teenagers, these parents, these grandparents, all living and working together? Well, the average resident has been a hardcore drug addict for 16 years. Abusing alcohol and dropping out of school in the 7th grade. Many have been institutionalized several times, been a gang member, and most have been trapped in a vicious cycle of poverty for generations. Some students never had a functional lifestyle. Others came from well-to-do families until addiction ripped them away. For many, the academy would be their first experience altogether with orderly living. Real recovery that included learning the behavioral skills, the attitudes, and the values of socialized living. This is the Other Side Academy. Based on the highly successful and innovative Delancey Street model, the Other Side Academy bucks traditional wisdom with accountability, not experts. with self-sustaining social enterprise, not government handouts. Like a large family, residents learn to develop their strengths by helping each other. The Other Side Academy is a drug-free home with a focus on changing negative patterns of behavior through peer interactions. It is through these interactions that residents learn the social norms, build social skills, and become self-sufficient. Against all odds, the Other Side Academy is transforming ex-convicts into assets in the community. They said it couldn't be done. Dave DeRosier proved them all wrong.
I was arrested for the first time at 13. The problem with me was I was a liar and a cheat and a thief and a manipulator, and I was violent and hedonistic. I didn't care about anybody but myself. I had gone over to a friend's house to weigh up some dope for sale. Within seconds, there was, I can't tell you how many cop cars in hot pursuit. So I was reaching for something in the vehicle. I wanted to grab something that looked like a weapon just so I could hold it up so the cops would kill me. I was broken, I was tired, I was scared, and I really, really, really just wanted one more chance. I wanted an opportunity to learn to do something different. What I noticed right away were people that I had known from the street, maybe people that I had known from prison, that had been at Delancey Street for a long time and had completely transformed their lives. It gave me instant credibility that this probably worked. When a therapist or a doctor tries to connect with somebody with my drug history and my criminal history, by God, what could they possibly know about what I'm feeling or what I'm going through if they haven't already been there and done it themselves? Every time that I went to prison, I became more of an animal and more of a criminal. Delancey Street quite literally saved my life. It gave me the opportunity to learn to be a decent human being and a good man.
So back to that. Effective change managers know how to navigate through resistance to their ideas. Today, I'm pleased to announce that in partnership with Sheriff Bill Gore and with the support of District Attorney Summer Steffen and Public Defender Randy Mize, that we will be bringing the Other Side Academy model to San Diego. Our staff will soon begin to do its due diligence of locating a site to make this a reality. And I'm proud to say that with the generosity of two $1 million commitments from our community, this can be done and sustained without ongoing taxpayer money. Check this out. The students at the Salt Lake City Other Side Academy have on average been arrested 25 times and combined would be facing 421 years of incarceration. The cost to Utah taxpayers if they did all of this time? Over $21 million. Think about this. Dave DeRosier in this video, according to his sentencing, would still be in prison. Instead, he is running that $2.5 million enterprise and rebuilding the lives of those who likely would spend the entire rest of their days living off of the system. This is the road that Mildred Green began when she defied odds and ran for county supervisor. This is the vision the board had when it began that audacious Live Well San Diego initiative. This is the legacy of the San Diego Food Bank, Solutions for Change, Workshops for Warriors, Doors of Change, and the Other Side Academy. And this is our future as we move government beyond the status quo so that 2018 is greater than 1918 could have ever imagined. Now, it's with great pride that I now pay tribute to my empowerment team. These are the individuals who are courageous enough tonight to share their stories with you. They have all found their inner strength to transform their lives, and now they're on a mission to transform the lives of countless others here in San Diego County. Jennifer, Austin, Jacinto, and Dave, would you please stand now and be recognized?